What's up, YouTube Nation? Coming to you live from the TKO Boxing Digest. My name is Lamar, a.k.a. the Black Abe Sanchez, my partner in crime.
Hey, my name is D, a.k.a. the Black Al Bernstein. Shout out to Al Bernstein.
Shout out to Al Bernstein. We're starting a new series. We're going to call it Mythical Matchups. I mean, in boxing, we always desire matchups that we were never able to see, either because it was a different era, you know, from a current boxer that...
Rape charges.
I mean, just a number of different factors. But as boxing fans, we can always come together and have dialogue about a matchup that was from different eras or current times that, you know, we could have a mythical matchup from Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather because we probably never see it. So
you're right.
Yeah, so absolutely, man. So our matchup today, it's going to be for our European fans. Shout out for Eastern European fans.
Shout out to y'all, man. Great.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to do Joe Calzaghe versus Gennady Triple G Golovkin. Okay,
we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it right. We're gonna go with a little West European, East European. That's how we're gonna look at it.
That's how we're gonna look at it.
So, and it's gonna be a hell of a matchup either way.
No matter how the cookie crumbles, this particular matchup will be one of the matchups that would sell out arenas no matter where it was. Action packed.
No chess match.
No chess match. I feel like Calzaghe, in my opinion, he's definitely one of the greatest boxers at 168 of his time.
I give you that.
Absolutely. I mean, his resume includes wins over Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins. Now, granted, they were long in the tooth at the time, but they're still wins. I mean, the alien is still fighting today.
He might be the undisputed champion before we give this video over, you know?
For sure. He took the O off of Mikhail Kessler's record.
And Mikhail Kessler was a solid fighter, man. Real solid
fighter at the time, man. He was undefeated. And, I mean, he had a great combination of speed. You know, his footwork was subpar, but at the same time, he had decent pop in his punches, great technique. Could be viewed as the Tim Duncan of boxing in a sense, just for fundamentals.
Yeah, and then too, you know, this guy was grossly overrated. I compare him to Andre Berto, but still, at the time, Jeff Lacy was considered a up-and-coming blue chip prospect.
Yeah, sure.
And the way he undressed that dude never recovered.
Man, Jeff Lacy going into that fight was supposed to be.
He was a favorite.
He was the favorite. I mean, the big left hook. He was supposed to go to Europe and basically knock out.
Yeah,
you know, Joe Calzaghe, and Joe, he wasn't having it that
night. Joe definitely was not having it. After the second round, it was a wrap for pretty much Jeff Lacy.
It was all downhill. And people always say Joe Calzaghe, he had pitter-pat punches, you know, I mean, slapped with his punches, but at the same time, he still knocked people down and out.
Yeah, he definitely did some damage, you know. Like you say, he picked his points well. One thing about Joe Calzaghe, anticipation was phenomenal. He knew when to come in there, and he knew when to step out. He got great distance when he was fighting. You know what I mean? He got in close just enough to do his damage and was able to step back. Footwork was pretty decent, you know. And I want to actually give a shout out to his pops, Enzo, man. Enzo, you know, you very seldom see a father-son training that stick from the beginning to the end, and they did that.
Hey man,
all the way to the Junior Golden Glove to the Hall of Fame, man. I salute you, Enzo, for doing that. You know, there's a lot of fighters go back and forth. Even Roy Jones, you know, the needle and there go back and forth, but they were able to make it work for all those years. So, you know, that's really good, man.
That's admirable.
Yeah, it's really admirable.
Yeah, for sure, man. So. Let's just talk about Triple G, man. You know, granted, at this point,
his resume is kind of hollow right now.
His resume is hollow. So with us even talking about this mythical matchup, it's kind of unbalanced. But at the same time, this guy, he has so much, so large of a following, like hardcore following. Yeah. He has this mystique at this time, like a Mike Tyson mystique.
Yeah. When the last time this man has won 10 rounds in what? I mean, a full round in what, like 3 or 4 years, possibly. He's on the streak of what, 20 fights, 20 KOs. This is crazy.
It's crazy right now, man. This guy has one of the highest KO percentages in the division
ever,
if not in boxing.
Yeah, most definitely. His is what, like, I think like 92% now, which is crazy.
Sure, and I mean, maybe I have a biased opinion. My AKA is Abe Sanchez. If you don't know already, Abe Sanchez is Triple G's trainer, his head trainer. So I respect his trainer. I give him the utmost shout out to Abe Sanchez.
Shout out to Abe Sanchez.
Absolutely. I feel like he has great insight. He gives the best interviews.
He really does.
And he also trained Terry Norris.
Terry Norris, man. Right? Probably had the fastest hands you will ever see in a junior middleweight, man. Hall of Fame, man. We salute you, Terry Norris, man.
Terry Norris, we may have an unsung series coming out.
We may have one for you too, man.
Absolutely. Okay, but Triple G right now, you look at his resume. He has wins over
Daniel Gale, Curtis Stevens. Who
else we have? Macklin. Macklin's fair. You know,
Gabe Rosado.
You know what? I actually chose Gabe Rosado to beat James Kirkland. So I feel like Rosado is a decent fighter. You know,
I can't do the same.
I know it's controversial.
Yeah, you know? Gabe Rosado, man. But he is undefeated in BKB.
He has a 1-0 BKA record.
1-0 BKB via TKO. So you know you can't.
And I mean he did knock out a guy in Brian Vera, which has a decent chin.
Yeah, he did. Brian Vera has
there. Arguably, I mean it was controversial. The first win could have went to Brian Vera in the Julio Cesar Chavez fight. You know?
He gave Julio Cesar a pretty good fight, but when we look at this fight, we're not looking at resumes because obviously Joe Calzaghe has the best resume.
Sure,
he has a superior resume, but we're looking at based on skill set and matchup. And styles make fights. And this fight, and both of these guys have a really crowd pleasing style, all action. You know what I mean? I get a slight edge of Triple G on defense, but the X factor, I think the reason why I think Triple G is going to give Joe Calzaghe problems because he cuts off the ring really well, man. He's going to stalk him.
Great anticipation.
He's going to stalk him, and sooner or later he's going to catch up. And one thing about it though, we know that I personally feel that Triple G has a nice chin. I feel like I would go on a limb and say he has a granite chin, man. We haven't seen him get some.
We haven't seen him test the chin. It's unproven.
It's unproven, but I have a really feeling he has a good chin. And we all know how Joe Calzaghe is. His chin is not China, but it's not granite neither.
Sure.
So
that's absolutely true.
And I feel
it's somewhere in between. And let's just say it's heart.
He does have. You're right. He has. His heart and his intangibles kind of help him out. But if you ever got a situation where, for instance, if you watch Mikhail Kessler and the Joe Calzaghe fight when they had those heated exchanges, Joe Calzaghe is picking this up off the ground. And the difference between Joe Calzaghe, a lot of fighters who did drop him, they were not good finishers. One thing Triple G does well, he finishes fights really well.
One of the best finishers in the boxing game right now.
Yeah, and I think that once you see Joe Calzaghe hurt, it'll be a wrap for him.
Man, that guy, he's like a shark in water, man.
He really
when he
is.
Smells blood, he goes in for the kill. He's relentless. I mean, in his last knockout, he took a punch to give a punch.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how often do you see a guy take a punch and deliver a KO punch at the same time?
Yeah, and some people may say Danny Gold's not a huge punch, but still, I don't care. If you get hit by any world-class puncher, square on the jaw, flush, and you still able to return one, even knockout punch, that still shows some pretty good punch resistance.
And then, I mean, you can look back just a couple fights. Curtis Stevenson.
Curtis Stevenson was hitting him with some hellacious punch.
Hellacious.
And he was just smiling them off like he usually does, you know. And only thing about it, though, I think Joe Calzaghe's biggest X factor would probably be his footwork. You know, he has a little more foot speed than Triple G, man.
You can argue that his foot speed is, well, there's no comparison in foot speed,
yeah.
but you can argue that it would allow him to, buy some rounds.
Allow him to maneuver a little bit better, you know.
So, you know, let's go ahead and just be brutally honest.
Brutally honest, man, Triple G is going to crush Joe Calzaghe, man. I'm sorry. You know, like Joe Calzaghe, he has some good wins, but all his wins are kind of like Barry Bonds asterisk wins. Bernard Hopkins, as arguably he could have won that fight. Arguably, I thought you know Joe Calzaghe did enough to win, but you know it can go either way. Roy Jones, we know that when the time he was fighting him, Roy was not the invincible person he is now.
Yeah, Roy Jones.
Jeff Lacey. Time to show how good Jeff Lacey is.
We just had an unsung video on Jeff Lacey.
Yeah, so Jeff Lacey's was terrible, and Mikhail Kessler's probably the strongest win.
Absolutely, at this point.
And he did beat an old-ass Chris Eubanks, but he was old as hell, man.
Yeah.
That don't count. But yeah, Mikhail Kessler is probably his
biggest. You can't forget Omar Sheikha, right?
You can't forget Omar Sheikha. Omar Sheikha did have a moment.
And Robin Reed.
And Robin Reed, they both have.
Wasn't Robin Reed a porn star at the time?
And Pito Manfredo. You can't forget about Pito Manfredo.
Not the contender, right?
Not the contender, man. You can't forget about those guys. So, this being said, and he never fought with somebody type of power, type of relentlessness. I don't see him coming out there, man. Like, I don't really see him. I see him getting stopped at least 6 rounds, man. 6, 7, knockout. Not TKO, knockout.
Okay, I can respect that, and I'm gonna actually agree with my partner here, D, aka
Blackout.
Al Bernstein. I mean, based on styles, Joe Calzaghe, he had a decent jab. I like his footwork. He punched in bunches, which would bother, I feel like, Triple G. A lot of fighters,
you're right.
I mean,
they get deer eyes. When I mean deer eyes, like they get caught in the hairlines. When they instead of them letting their hands go, it's so fearful for the counter punch that they only, instead of punching the bunches, they just get frozen and punch one.
That's true, but at the same time, one of his greatest assets of punching in bunches will probably be his demise.
Yeah.
Because between one of those slapping punches, I could see Triple G,
unloading that left, man.
Unloading a hellacious bomb that detonates on Calzaghe's chin.
Yeah.
Or anywhere. And you know what? Have you seen Joe Calzaghe face someone that had devastating punches to the body?
No, you're right. And you're right. You're right. Not too many people actually went to the body on Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah, definitely.
And definitely Triple G will go to the body.
Yeah, so all those cocaine nights he experienced.
Yeah.
Those punches to the breadbasket, man, from a fighter like Triple G, that's actually big for 160. I feel like he can, he's
only
only
at fight at 168. The fighter be at 160.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, you look at Triple G, you hear these stories of sparring sessions with light heavyweights, cruiserweights, and he's just giving guys the work.
Man, he definitely would give him the business, man. So I definitely, like Joe Calzaghe is the first ballot Hall of Fame, not taking anything away from him. Undefeated record, did 2-division champion, 2-division lineal champion, good resume, but based on styles and skill sets, I just don't think that's a fight that he'll want to do.
Yeah, based on styles. My prediction, I'm going to give Joe Calzaghe a little more credit and say is that he makes it to the championship rounds in the fight, or he may be one of the few men that takes Gennady Golovkin to a decision. Granted, if he does make it to decision, he may have to retire after the fight because the punishment that he would endure would probably ruin his career.
Yeah.
So with that being said, man, it's a great matchup while it lasts. But in the end, there can only be one victor, and that would be Gennady Triple G Golovkin.
Yep.
All right, so YouTubers, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, join our TKO Boxing Digest. Leave your comments below. We'd love to get any feedback that you may have. If there's any mythical matchups that you'd like to have us discuss in the future, leave your comments below. But in the meanwhile, it was a pleasure. Shout out to the European fans. Keep supporting
Shout
us.
out to all our fans.
Yeah, better yet, everyone that tunes in each week.
Yeah,
this is our second weekend, but at the same time, we're focused and we're bringing you the cutting edge.
We try to
material.
cutting edge information. We try to come from a true boxing perspective.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
we appreciate all y'all just following us now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love boxing, and this is a passion of ours. So
definitely is.
So one boxing fan to another. Thanks for signing in. You have a great night.